Hello and welcome. So I'll just be hanging out for a little bit and we'll wait and see what happens. So we'll just wait and give people some time to show up and then I'll get started. So I'll be right back in just a moment. If you haven't already, go grab a pen and a piece of paper or a journal or something. You might be writing some stuff down. So go ahead and do that and then come on back. You also might want some water. Up to you. I tend to need to have a drink every now and then, especially when I'm talking. Hi and welcome. Someone joined us. If you have, pop in the text in something in the chat box and say g'day and tell me who it is. So whoever's jumped on board, hello and welcome to this webinar. If you can access the chat message, which you should be able to, can you just send me a message and tell me who you are? I'd like to welcome you here. So you should be able to see the chat message on the right-hand side of the screen. Jump on there and just tell me who's joined on. I can see there's a couple of you guys have come along and I'd love to know who you are and find out a little bit about where you're at so that I can give you the best bang for your buck during this webinar. So you should be able to see the chat box come up on the right-hand side. Someone's dropped off, that's all right. Cool. Let's just see. So bear with me while we get our technical things online on board. So you guys should be able to see the chat bar on the right-hand side. I'd love you to tell me who you are because I'd love to be able to help you out with whatever is stressing you today so that I can give you the best session possible, assuming that the technical elements of this webinar are running correctly. There's someone dropping in and out. Maybe you guys can't see the chat. Let's go again. Let's see this box. Sorry for the wobbling. Can you see the box? Can you see the message? Can you guys write in a message? All right, so maybe you guys can't access that chat box, which is perfectly fine. I might get started. So thanks so much for joining me. I want to ask you a question first. Would you like to have more calm in your life? And would you also like to have tools and methods for ways to overcome the challenges in your life? Yes or no? So maybe you're listening today because you feel as though something's got to change. You're not sure what that is, but something's got to give. Perhaps you get up in the morning and you don't have any energy. And maybe at night you can't even keep up with the kids. Or potentially, just potentially, it feels like someone else has the remote control of your life and they're busy pushing your buttons. But what if? What if things could be different? Picture living the life of your dreams, full of passion, enthusiasm, excitement for every day that's to come, where you're cool and calm under pressure. You can handle stress and you've got an unshakable sense of faith in yourself, total belief in yourself. And when you look in the mirror, an inner radiance shines through. When you get up in the morning, there's a spring in your step and a sparkle in your eye. So would you agree? If your life looks something like a little bit that's over here, and you would prefer to be in this place over here, you might need some strategies or tools to get you from point A to point B. Empowering tools. And empowerment is actually the subject I want to speak with you about today. Empowerment. So what is it and how does it relate to stress and defusing stress? Well, empowerment is taking charge of your state, taking charge of your emotions. So emotions that our society often deems as negative or undesirable, such as stress, fear, anger, anxiety, and learning how to be an adult with those emotions. Have you ever had an experience when somebody said something to you and you got really, really, really mad, completely out of attunement with everything mad, that sort of mad? If that's the case, you've been triggered. I know I have. And being triggered means that you're not in charge of your state. You're not in charge of how you respond in those instances, in those moments. So would it be something that would be worthwhile? Having the tools and having the ability to take charge of yourself, even when you're stressed, even when it feels like the whole world's caving in on you and you're struggling to just pedal under the water like one of those ducks that has the feet rolling underneath, and on top it looks like they're calm and collected, but really underneath they're paddling very hard just to get by. Is that you? So what does an empowered person look like and sound like? An empowered person has got a really clear vision of where they're headed. They know where they're going. It sounds clear to them, so clear as a bell what's on their path. And they have a firm grasp on where they're going. Is that something that you would like to have? Yes or no? I know for me it's something that I strive for, to be as empowered as possible and to really take charge of myself and my life. And perhaps for you, taking charge of that level of stress is something that's going to make a difference in your life. So, studies from Harvard University link chronically holding emotions such as stress and anger are risk factors for having issues with your heart. So risk factors for actually heart disease. So that's not so great if you're struggling with stress, really. And then add to that studies from the University of Illinois. Studies of more than 5,000 people show that the more optimistic people have got much better heart health. And the people who are not so optimistic, well, their risk of having issues with their heart's really quite high. And then take it further. The World Health Organization shows that over 50% of all deaths worldwide, so that's 7 billion people and counting, over 50% are related to some form of heart disease. So what that means is either you or someone that you really love and care about is at risk of dying from heart disease. So doesn't it make sense to take charge of your emotions now, today if you can? And if not today, then when are you going to? Are you going to wait 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? It could be too late. So you're probably wondering, who is Bianca and what does she know about empowerment? So I'd like to share a story about myself with you now. If you were there with me back in 2010, you would have been hanging out in the hills of Byron at a favourite relative's house. The rolling green hills, the macadamia farms, that rich smell of hay and grass, right when the grass is being cut. Just that sense of summer on its way, it's springtime, it's just divine. And invariably within 24 hours of me being at this beautiful home, this most gorgeous place that I adore, the symptoms would start. My eyes would get itchy, my nose, oh my God, I have to rub my nose right now, please. I need a hanky, I need a tissue, just, oh, that hay fever would just kick in. It's really quite debilitating and I can't control my face. It's like I'm this snot bag. It's the last thing in the world that I want when I'm trying to enjoy myself in this most gorgeous environment. Within 24 hours, I was reaching for the antihistamine. Give me something, give me some relief from all of this agony of a condition I've got no control over. It's exhausting, it's stressful, it's really uncomfortable. I just want a way out. Fast forward 3 years. Fast forward these 3 years, it's 2013, and I'm in the same home. This time in the hills of Byron, I'm house sitting. I've got the house for a whole month, and so much has changed in that time. I've learned tools, I've learned techniques to take charge of myself and my state. So as soon as I get there, as soon as I settle in, so within that 24-hour window, I am deciding I'm not dealing with this again. I am not allowing hay fever to rule my life. It's not going to happen. So I start using my tools. As soon as anything happens, I get an itchy nose, I get that sense of I'm about to sneeze, straight into the tools, looking at the options and saying, you know what, I have the time, I have the space, this is my time. This is my time to take charge. Fast forward 2 weeks. I've been in the house for 2 weeks. The weather's incredible. It's been raining and raining. So I've had so much time to myself, which has been great. And I've had a lot of time to really go through my own stuff, my own crap. Then this particular night, I'm lying in bed under the loose sheet. It's February, it's warm, it's muggy, it's wet outside. And I strike gold. I finally start to understand when this all started. I'm transported back to age 14. Age 14, and I'm outside my family home. It's early springtime, beautiful, gorgeous, sunny day, just a stunning day. It's beautiful weather. The sun is beaming down on me and I'm mowing the lawn of my parents' home. It was part of my duties as a kid to help out, to mow the lawn, I took this on quite happily. And here I am mowing the lawn, my usual routine, except for this time it's a little different. I'm mowing the lawn with the new electric mower. Now, I'm not the most careful of people, and when I was 14, I certainly wasn't. And I'm mowing the lawn, and suddenly I notice, oh heck, I've just run over the cord. Oh my God, Dad is gonna kill me. It's a brand new lawnmower. It costs, I don't know how much. It's a horrendous amount of money, and I'm scared shitless as I go inside to speak to my dad. Dad, I've run over the lawnmower, Dad, like the cord. He goes outside. Oh my God, Bianca, what have you done? What have you done? He's totally freaking out, and I start to fall apart. And looking back on it from that bed in the hills of Byron, I see that I've misunderstood my dad's anger. I thought he was angry at me. I thought I had done something wrong. Turns out I haven't done anything wrong. He's flipped out because he's been so afraid that I could have killed myself I could have electrocuted myself. But my 14-year-old self couldn't see that. I was just feeling like, oh my God, I've done something wrong. I'm bad. It's not a great thing. And oh my God, he's gonna kill me. But with those adult eyes, I could see that that wasn't what he meant at all. He loved me and he wanted me to be safe and protected. And that's when it all fell into place for me. Suddenly I'd taken charge of my health and the stress I had around hay fever. And suddenly it didn't control me. I was in charge. I had tools. I knew I could overcome it, and I knew this had been my breakthrough. My breakthrough in taking charge. And come the next spring, I was at home preparing for hay fever, preparing to get the antihistamines out, preparing to do whatever I had to do to get through spring. And nothing. Nothing. Maybe a little itchy nose every now and then, or an occasional sneeze, but nothing like what had been in the past of the 10, 20, 30 sneezes to the point of not being able to handle it. And suddenly I understood what my old friend had tried to explain to me so many times. This friend Anne had tried to tell me, Bianca, you have the answers within. And it was only in that moment that I understood that statement. I have the answers. And I know that you do too. And so that's why I want you to be empowered to take charge of your emotions and to let go and diffuse stress so that it stops ruling your life. So is that something that you would like? Yes or no? So now we're going to move forward and I'm going to start teaching you some of these tools. So these tools are really very simple, and you can see off to the side that I've got them hidden away at the moment. But I really want you to absorb as much of this as possible and also know it's quite simple. None of them are difficult. I often find that it's the simple things that give you the solutions. We as humans tend to complicate things a lot, and I don't think we need to. So let's start with the first one. So with this, you are going to have a greater sense of connection to your body. And without it, you might struggle with issues in perhaps your lower back and a feeling of not being aligned. So let's go ahead and reveal what the first thing is. Let's see, you might not be able to see it from that far away. It's reset energy. So what is reset energy? That sounds really random, Bianca. What are you talking about? Reset energy comes from a type of yoga called calligraphy yoga. Now, I'll pass on these details later on. If you want to explore further, you're very, very welcome. My teacher, Master Yang, has been inspirational to me in starting to teach me how to move energy. You may or may not be aware that I'm a kinesiologist and a coach. And even though I work with energy and I help people work through their blocks, I've never before in my life been able to tap into my own energy at this depth and this level that this style of learning has given me. So that's really the theory about tapping into your body. So now I want to show you this tool. As I said, it's not complicated. It's quite simple, and there's two ways to do it. With reset energy, you can either do it standing or you can do it sitting. For the purposes of this video and webinar, I'm going to do it sitting, but feel free to try it standing. And it's a 4-step movement. As I said, it's simple. I don't want you to get this idea that this is going to be complicated, because it's not, but it's exceedingly powerful. So if you're either standing or sitting, it doesn't matter. You want to have your hips at the right comfortable level. So your feet are firmly planted on the ground, your hips are hip width apart, and you're relaxed in your body, standing firm. And then what we're going to do is, on an inhale, you're going to lift up your arms. So you inhale, you lift your arms up. as far as you can. If you run out of breath, stop and allow your arms to just float down on the exhale. And then inhale, bring your hands together to prayer position. So like this, but up high. Sorry, my hands are out of the camera shot. So then when you exhale, you're going to actually reach with your hands as high as you can towards the ceiling, and you're going to lengthen your spine. So that's on the exhale. You're really going to lengthen your spine out. And what this does is this cell by cell, vertebra by vertebra stretches out your spine. So that's the exhale. Then the inhale, your hands are going to come down. So inhale. And exhale, final exhale, you turn your hands down towards the ground and you push down towards the ground. Now, what is important to notice with this 4-step movement is it's not just physical. So it's called reset energy because you're resetting the energy in your body. So on that first inhale, which I'm going to just demonstrate but then speak, so I'm obviously not doing the breathing with it. So you inhale, you're pulling the energy up through your feet from the ground, so pulling it all the way up through your body, up above your head. And then you exhale and push the energy as high up your head as you can. So you're reaching your hands and the top of your head towards the ceiling as high as you can. So that will lengthen your spine out. Your spine will lengthen and lift. And then inhale, once you run out of breath, inhale it down. And then turn it down and exhale, and pushing that energy as you exhale down out through your feet, down into the ground. So like I said, it's really simple, but what it will do, it will increase your energy and it lengthens your spine. So I've heard of people who've been having real issues with their back and they've got a lot of tension in their back, and a lot of people have lower back problems. This is great for just causing the lengthening of your spine and for your spine to start trusting, or your body to start trusting your spine again. Because if you're consistently lengthening, opening up, lengthening out, you lengthen out your spine and give it space to just start making space for movement and for freedom and flexibility, which often what happens is we're stuck in front of computers and on chairs, and that's not really natural in our evolution for our bodies to be still. So you're probably or possibly wondering, how does this diffuse stress? What happens is when you're so focused on the breathing and the movements and you're focused on drawing the energy up, it's like your mind switches off a little bit. So it's a great tool for diffusing that stress that you might be feeling in the moment. And obviously it's not going to be the easiest thing to do in the middle of a supermarket if you had a child, let's say, and they started to lose it. But if you're sitting at your desk at the office and you're just feeling really stressed and overwhelmed, just do a few of these. So my teacher teaches that when we practice, and particularly if you do have back issues, to do 20 of these in a row. And the more you practice, the more consistent your breathing will get. So that I found at first I couldn't even get all the way up on one breath. I had to stop and relax, which is nothing wrong with that. But over time, I was able to develop a capacity to be able to come all the way up, and then on the exhale, lift all the way up. And then on the inhale, down, exhale, down. So I'm just going to demonstrate it once for you because I've been talking all the way through that. So I'll quickly show you how it looks. So it's almost like a meditation. If you've ever done any yoga, it is very relaxing and calming. So give it a go. If you haven't already tried it, do it once again with me now. You ready? Inhale. Feel free to stop and exhale. Then inhale. Then exhale. Then inhale. Then exhale. And that's reset energy. Simple, right? So don't be afraid to use it. If you're feeling tight in your back, just throw a couple of those in. Personally, I actually practice this type of yoga. It's almost like Tai Chi, just about every day for about 20 minutes to half an hour, and it has changed my life. So please get in touch if you do want some further information about that style of yoga. I'd love to share it with you. So we're going to move on to the next tool. So with this, it's going to give you the capacity to calm down if you're feeling really overwhelmed and stressed. And without it, you might see no change or no difference. So what is it? I might have to bring it closer again to reveal. It's emotional stress release. So emotional stress release, basically it's all about bringing blood back to the part of your brain that's the critical faculty, which means it's allowing you to be able to think your way through problems as opposed to just wanting to run away and hide. You've possibly heard of the fight and flight mechanism, where if something happens, like for example, when in our evolution you faced a tiger or a lion or something, your body would go straight into flight mode and all you want to do is get out of there, or you'd stand up nice and tall and you would fight that enemy or that wild animal. I'm sure you've had instances of this where you know you either step up to the plate and you fight something if something happens and you're feeling under pressure, or you just want out of there. For me personally, I'm a get out of there kind of a gal. I'm not really gonna fight, but everyone deals with things in one or the other way is what it tends to be. And where this happens in the body is actually in the back of the brain. It's kind of the bottom of the brain stem. Some people call it the amygdala. Well, there is the amygdala in there. And that's where your fight and flight response is, in the back. But what we want to do is we want to bring the blood forward to the front of the brain, which is where your frontal lobes are. This is where you make decisions, where your logical mind sits, where you can really think through things, as opposed to just wanting to fight it or flight. So this tool is so simple, yet it's so effective. I don't want you to think that just because it's simple, it's not going to be useful. I guarantee you I have used this both in my own practice as a kinesiologist and also on myself throughout my journey through discovering a lot of things that have been going on in my past. So emotional stress release comes from kinesiology. If you've ever heard of kinesiology, it's a method of energetic release of any blocks in your body. So I find it really calming, and I think it's interesting that people actually use this without realizing it. So you might see someone who's really stressed out and you see this image of them on the table, hand on the head. That's exactly what emotional stress release is. One hand on the head. So that you're bringing the blood forward and you're allowing your critical mind to come up with solutions and come up with understandings and awarenesses. So this literally is emotional stress release, or ESR. This is also called that. So you can either just pop the hand right on the front of the head, and I'm sure you'll find it soothing, or using your thumb, index finger and third finger, just popping them over the top of your eyes, just above your eyebrows like that, and just allowing the blood to come forward into the front of your brain and away from the back. So emotional stress release, so simple, so valuable. So if you're ever feeling stressed and like you haven't got things under control, it's actually not that bad to just do this. People don't really notice and think much of it. But if you're feeling uncomfortable, go find a space on your own and stick your hand on your head or pop that little point in there on, just so that you can bring forward the blood, bring forward the awareness, and take control of yourself. I can't tell you how important learning that small little technique has been to me. I can't overstate it. So give it a go, slap on the hand on your forehead, and take charge of your emotional state. So I'm going to change gears here a little bit, and I'm going to give you a bit of an overview of a program that I'm running very shortly. So the program, if I can get my screen share happening, I'm going to have to just restart the program, and we'll see if I can get the screen share happening. It'd be great if I could. Sorry, bear with me a moment, please. Here we go. So I've jumped ahead to the wrong page. So what I am going to be teaching, and I'll just pop it on the slideshow from start, is the transformation technique. So the transformation technique are tools that teach you how to take charge and transform yourself. Is that something that you would like? I know for me, having skills and tools to work through my own stuff and to clear my past stresses and blocks has been invaluable in my personal development and my growth. So that's why I'm releasing this program, and I'm so excited to be able to teach people to be empowered so that you don't always have to seek external support when something happens. So in my own past history, I noticed that something would come up and suddenly I would be seeking someone else to help me out, seeking someone else to fix my problems. And there comes a point where you realize, wait a minute, I'm handing all my control over to someone else. A, is that really necessary? And B, they don't have the desire and the willingness to move through my stuff that I do. I could be paying for the rest of my life for someone else to try and fix me, and they can't be there with me 24/7. So it's time for me to take charge myself. And that's why I'm so passionate about delivering this to yourself and to other people, so that you can take charge of whatever is going on and look at it from very different eyes. And in particular, in this program, I'll be focusing on your perception of time and also your energy, so that we'll clear away the cobwebs that are getting in the way of you feeling like, I have the time and I have the energy. So make sure that you have a pen and paper if you want to find out more about this program. So let's move on to the next slide. So the dates of this program, it starts on the 1st of June and it runs through to the 10th of July. And the program is a practical technique that will empower you to create change in your own life, which I've already explained. So through these tools, you will break through your limitations around time and energy. And I say that from my experience as a kinesiologist and my own changes in my life and growth through using energetic tools to clear blocks and to clear whatever's standing in your way. Through the 6 weeks, because it is a 6-week program, there'll be 12 live webinars similar to this, including a weekly Q&A session. And I will be holding them every Monday and Friday at the same time. There's also over 3 hours of video tutorials. And as you can see from that last little comment, if you can't make the webinars, the recordings will be available for you. So even if you've got other demands on your life, other commitments, that will be completely fine. So let's move on to the next slide, which is about the investment. So the total investment for the 6-week program is $347. And because I really want to reward the first people who are in and who jump on board this program, the first people who register and pay in full will receive the following bonuses, and they are valued at $205. You will get a 1-hour Release Your Biggest Fear Skype session, and that's valued at $110. So that's whatever fear you have, we'll work through that to release all that tension and whatever's causing all that disruption underneath the surface, so that you can become the best you possible. Because if you're holding on to a massive fear, which a lot of people are, that's stopping you from having the energy to do all the things that you want to do, because that particular fear is like a dam blocked up within you of energy's all dammed up, and releasing it means that the energy can flow smoothly again, and you can get on with all the other things that you want out of your life. Does that sound like something that might be good? Up to you. The second bonus is a 30 minutes blitz coaching Skype session valued at $55. So in that, we'll blitz through whatever you regard as the thing that you really want to focus on. And I'll give you an excellent session to clear and coach through whatever it is that you want to achieve and set a really clear foundation for next steps forward for you. The third bonus is a tailored transformational program based on the Uncover Your Heart questionnaire. So there you'll get a questionnaire and fill it in and get back to me, and I will tailor a program for you, and that's valued at $40. And also you'll get 4 weeks of unlimited email support. So the first 3 people get all 4 of those things. The following 3 people to register and pay in full will get bonuses 2, 3, and 4. So that's at the value of $95. And then finally, the last 3 people in the bonus period will get bonuses 3 and 4 valued at $40. So that is the transformational technique program. So now we're going to jump back on. There I am again. Jump back on, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to teach you the last piece in the tools that we've been working through. So if you remember, we've now done reset energy. So that was the 4-step movement. So 1, 2, obviously you do it slower than this, 3 and 4. So shifting energy through your body, not just physically. Focus on, as my teacher says, talk to your cells. So start learning to talk to your cells because they're ready to listen. They really are. And then we looked at emotional stress release. So that was that hand on the forehead, emotional stress release, letting go of the past and diffusing the stress and whatever's you're holding on to. I mean, I've had examples where I've been in a meeting and I've gotten so frustrated and so upset. I actually excused myself from the meeting to go to the bathroom, and I sat in the bathroom doing this just to bring myself down and just going, okay, I can handle this. I got this under control. And I found it brought my energy and stress levels down hugely. Sorry, not my energy, just the stress levels. It brought them down quite a long way. So that's the second tool. The third tool. So with this, potentially you will have better sleep. And potentially without it, you might stay stressed indefinitely. It's quite possible. So what is it? Once again, I'll bring the whiteboard closer. It is mindful, there we go, mindful breath. So what is mindful breath? Perhaps you've heard of mindfulness and really staying mindful within your body when you're breathing. It was created by Kabat-Zinn, Dr. Kabat-Zinn, as a style of meditation. And what Dr. Andrew Weil has done is he's focusing just on the breath, on mindful breath. And what he says, and apologies, I'm just confirming with my notes, he says that it is actually a natural tranquilizer for your nervous system. So if you're not aware, your nervous system is basically all the communication that occurs throughout your body between your cells via the nerves, so even from your arms and your legs all the way up to your brain. So it's basically the communication pathway through your entire body. And Dr. Weil says that potentially this can actually help you have better sleep and also reconnect up your nervous system. And it's like you've got 2 sides to your nervous system. There's the parasympathetic and then there's the sympathetic. And the parasympathetic is the rest and digest. So it's what calms your body down so that you can, when you rest, your body starts digesting your food. And often what happens when we're stressed is the cortisone, it's a stress hormone in your body, is ramped up so much that you can't de-stress and you can't drop that down, that level of stress down. So this technique, again, it's not difficult. It's quite simple. It was created by Dr. Weil, and I'm going to teach it to you very, very easily. So it's a 3-step breath. I'm going to explain it before I talk you through it. So firstly, you're going to breathe in to a count of 4. Yeah, so you breathe in for 1, for 2, for 3, for 4, Then you're going to hold your breath for a count of 7. And then you're going to breathe out for a count of 8. So with that in-breath, you've obviously got to get in enough capacity to be able to handle holding for 7 and then breathing out for 8. Dr. Wheel also recommends only repeating the breath at like 4 times in a session for the first month, because it's going to take a little while for your body to adjust to, to having this much oxygen in it. So literally, the mindful breath is 4, 7, 8. So breathe in for 4. So if you want to try it now, exhale now, empty out your lungs, and then inhale for a count of 1, for 2, for 3, for 4. Now hold your breath for 1, for 2, for 3, for 4, for 5, 6, 7, and exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pretty straightforward, right? So you probably want to get in a quick in-breath after that if that's the first time you've done it. So he says, Dr. Will recommends that you do that twice a day, but up to only a maximum of 4 breaths in the first month. And then I believe in the next following month, you can increase that to 8. So practice that breath. It's, like I said, it's really simple, really straightforward. It's not difficult, but people have reported sleeping so much better when they use just this simple technique. I heard of one instance of a woman who she didn't even get to the 8 out breath, and suddenly she woke up and it was morning. And that was the method that she used despite a huge amount of stress she had in her life. So think about how that could impact your life. Just starting to tap down into the bottom level of your breathing by taking that 1 in breath for 4, holding for 7, and then breathing out for 8. So now it's time to give you guys an opportunity to ask me any questions. I've taught you reset energy, emotional stress release, and mindful breath. We've talked about the transformational technique program, and I'm hoping that you've got some good value, simple tools to take away with you and just really calm down in life. But if you've got any questions, now is the time to jump on and ask them. I'm hoping that the chat box is working. I can see it working. I'm not sure if you can see it working, but feel free to jump on and ask me any questions. Any questions, now's the time. I need some music to allow the questions to roll. Okay, we've got someone's still on board. If you've got any questions, I can see there's someone still on the line. If you've got any questions and you can't see the chat box, please email me at Bianca, so B-I-A-N-C-A obviously, at balancewithb.com, as you can see on the bottom of the screen. So if you're not able to use the chat box and you've got any questions about anything at all, I'd love to continue the conversation with you. I really enjoyed sharing these simple tools with you. It's not difficult to calm yourself from stress. I hope you've had some good value out of this session, and I really look forward to connecting with you in the future. So until then, thank you so much. Bye for now.